Good morning, gentlemen. So we're going to move on and we're going to design an even better tax calculator for our business. So the last income tax calculator we had did one person. Okay, so I now want to kind of join all that together and have something that we can reuse over and over and over again. So untitled spreadsheet, we're going to go for income tax. And I want to call it income tax, maybe not individual, but maybe group. Okay. And just down here, I think what we need are a few more sheets. So I'm going to rename this one here employees. I'm going to add in a few more sheets, so I keep clicking this. Let's add in 9 of them, okay? In here, I'm going to put in rename. I might call this one here government. Government. In here, I might call this one template. So rename and template. And okay, so now we can start working on our employees. So let's call this one Matthew. So we have this guy called Matthew, and we have this guy called Mark. We have this guy called Luke, and we have this guy here called John. Okay, and we can delete these. I don't think we'll need them. And delete. I don't think we'll need him either. Right, so let's go into employees, and in employees we have employee, and let's put in their gross salary. And we obviously have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I'm going to put in Matthew, I'm going to put in gross salary equals, and I'm going to copy that, Control C. Actually, I'm going to copy the square, right? Control C. I'm going to do Control V. Into Luke, I'm going to do Control V, and into John, I'm going to do Control V. And in here, I'm going to put in, I don't know, let's say 36,000. Mark, let's say he's going to earn 38,000. He's been working slightly longer than Matthew. Luke is only starting out, he gets 25,000. And John, he's the boss, so he gets 70,000. Okay, so any resemblance to real persons are wholly coincidental. Now, let's go back into the Matthew sheet and say that's equal. So that cell is equal to this cell here. Mark, this cell is equal to this cell here. Luke, this cell is equal, it will be the same thing as this cell here. And John, he's equal to this cell here. So in Matthew, I should have 36,000, 38,000, 25,000, and 70,000. Good. And if I change this guy here to 71,000, if I change this to 26,000, we should see changes in here. And why don't we see changes? Luke. So it worked for Luke, but it didn't work for John. Why did it not work for John? Let's try that again. John is equal to this guy here. Enter. So it works for John there. And if I go back in here and I change John into 72,000, hit enter, into John, 72,000. Okay, so everything is working here. I may not have hit enter after I keyed in John's figure. Okay, Now, every year the government comes along and the government changes the standard rate cutoff. So I want the column to be able to accommodate that. So I go into the column and that gives me my black arrows. Standard rate cutoff, standard rate, standard rate, standard rate, higher rate. So these are the three things that the government changes every year. We also have to include tax credits. So this person here, okay, so let's say Matthew has, I don't know, 1,600 tax credits. Mark might have, I don't know, 3,000 tax credits. Luke will have, I don't know, 3,600 tax credits. And John will have, I don't know, 3,600 also, okay? So Luke and John have pretty much the same type of family. They both own the same type of house. They're all that sort of stuff. But so their tax credit should be the same. There's a difference here or whatever. Now, so everything is looking good so far. Back into government, and let's say in this particular year, the government, they want the standard rate cutoff to be 21,670. They want the standard rate to be 20%. And they want the higher rate to be 40%. Okay, so let's template. That should be template. We don't want that at all. Let's say we have gross salary equals, so we want something in this figure here. Let's say we're going to do a test employee, and let's say our test employee earns 100,000, and let's say his tax credits are, I don't know, 4,500. Let's say an even 5,000. We'll be deleting this in a few minutes. Okay, so we have this employee called test. Maybe we could change this to test from template. Rename. Let's call it test. So there's this employee called test, and their gross salary first of all is going to equal equals. Go into employee and we click this box here, and so we get the 100,000. Okay. Now, and we also want to import its tax credits. So that's going to equal into employees, and it's going to equal that next there. And so if we go back into test, we see that's after happening. Lovely. Okay, so let's work out tax at standard rate equals, and you might remember this from the last day, tax at standard rate equals the standard rate cutoff, which is given by the government every year. So it's that figure there. So it's equal to that figure multiplied by that figure. Okay, tax at higher rate equals, now this is going to be a little bit trickier, so it's going to equal, so it's equal to every single cent above the standard rate cutoff. So we need a bracket because we're going to be doing a sum. So it's going to be this figure here minus this figure here. We put in a bracket, then we have to multiply that by this figure here. Okay, and then we can put in gross tax equals, and gross tax equals sum of this and this. Okay, and then tax credits equals this thing equals this box here. Okay, so that's looking good so far. And then net tax equals, well, that's equal to this box here minus this box here. Okay, and then I want to come back into employees and I want to put in net tax. And for test, it's going to equal this box here. Right. So we have something that works for test. So we know our test guy is working out nicely. So I'm going to come along and I'm going to Control Z for that. I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to try and copy all of our stuff here. Control C. And into Matthew, I'm going to put in, I'm going to paste it all in. Into Mark, I'm going to paste it all in. Into Luke, I'm going to paste it all in. And into John, I'm going to paste it all in. So you see me pasting there, I'm using Control V. So to copy, it was Control C. To paste, it's Control V. So that's all working quite nicely. Now, but obviously we're all dealing with tests gross salary. So Matthew, for example, he's earning 100,000. So let's go up to here, and Matthew, he's B2. So I changed this B6 into a B2 and it changes accordingly. Mark, he's going to be B3. Luke, he's going to be B4. And therefore John, he's going to be B5. Okay, and the tax credits for Matthew, so it's going to be C2, I think. And let's just check employees. Matthew's tax credits were that, yeah, good. So Mark, C3. Luke is C4. And John is C5. Okay, now employees, Matthew's net tax is going to be this guy here. Mark's net tax is going to be this guy here. Luke's net tax is going to be this guy here. And John's net tax is going to be this guy here. And I can now delete him. And can I delete him? I think I can delete him as well. Let's see what happens. So Matthew's still working, Mark is still working, John is still working, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Employees, all looks good. So let's change Matthew's gross salary into 38,000. He was paying 8,466. Let's see if we get a change. Yes, we do. Lovely. And if I change Matthew's tax credits into be exactly the same as Mark's tax credits, I should see that going down to 7,866. And look at that, it does. So everything is working nicely here. So we have set this up that our payroll administrator in our company doesn't actually have to do the calculations each time. All they have to do is go out and just change the figures on this page here, and they won't have to touch any of these pages here. once a year on the day the government announces the budget, they will have to update these figures here. So let's say it's the 2nd of April or whenever the budget is announced. I don't think it's in April anymore, but let's say the budget is announced and the standard rate cut off, they're after increasing that to, I don't know, 22,000. So if we go back into employees, we can see that everyone now is paying a little bit less tax. So let's change this back down to 21350, enter, back into employees, and we're now paying slightly more tax again. Okay, so that's kind of a very useful thing that spreadsheets are able to do for us. So I'm going to leave it there, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow in a live lesson. And I expect some of you to get stuck on this, so don't worry about that, and I'll try and get you sorted during the live lesson. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow live, first before big lunch.